Welcome to Pay ItP. Pay ItP stands for People Excellence Indicator Analytics. As we try to find fortunes at the bottom of the pyramid, we will encounter a lowered availability of ability to pay scores in the form of credit ratings and thus investigate for intention to pay for reaching new to credit individuals and thus increase our bases while maintaining an optimal control over the credit risk and lending principles to ensure sustained growth. In other words, trying to access new borrowers with or without credit ratings requires a new approach to assessing credit risk. The need is to assess for intention as ability is no longer consequential due to huge disruptions in payments and financial stability of borrowers post-COVID. So what do we want to do? Are you intending on finding ways of scraping the bottom of the pyramid for borrowers? Do you want to lend to those without a credit rating? Do you want to investigate for borrower risk for new to credit individuals? Or do you want to include credit risk and lending principles beyond ratings by exploring new pathways? Welcome to ItP Q12. Here's our solution to access borrower integrity using 12 questions to deliver the intention to pay scores. Compared to a credit rating with a single cutoff, our solution is a multilinear scale to provide for a decision triad with 3 caution subgroups for fine-tuning portfolio versus delinquency flow. In other words, it is 3 levels of caution along with proceed and avoid at 2 ends of the scale. Let me explain this further. As you can see, there's a high, mid and low level which act like control levers to ensure that we have customized benchmarks for each level. This can allow us to have either a limited exposure on our portfolio based on the concept of zero delinquency or expand exposure based on zero business loss. So how does it work? The applicant is required to answer 12 behavioral questions on a computer or a smartphone using their personal regional language of preference. The system is capable of capturing images of the applicant for verification during the test. You can also determine at what stage to administer the test. The scores appear real-time on a dashboard with a report and the decision triad to determine proceed, avoid or caution. The applicant response is algorithmically converted into what we call an LMRS score, which is our base framework to determine integrity. The LMRS score determines whether the applicant is creditworthy or to be avoided. Decisions for analysis are only in the caution triad. Benchmarks for rejection or pass-through can be centrally determined based on portfolio risk analytics. We will also help you set the benchmarks to begin with the dashboard offering real-time scores for you to evaluate. Let us look at the low delinquency approach. As you can see in this particular case, we have 26% of the population under avoid cases which would naturally be rejected by the system. This would also include 5% of loss in good cases. An overall 88% delinquent cases would thus be straight avoided, lowering your delinquency levels. This also makes it easy to implement, covering 90% cases which are decided not only fast but in actual real time. This leads to an improved predictability for delinquency and non-delinquency, which in all scenarios remain above 85%. If you look at, however, the zero business loss approach, here while the 77% of delinquent cases get straight rejected, an overall 22% of cases would require credit intervention, as the decision is left all to you. The credit intervention could be done based on this framework, where your internal risk policy or any other rating or score could be used in conjunction with our decision triad to form a credit risk matrix. The application of ItP Q12 could be for new to credit customers or borrowers whom you would like to extend fresh lines of credit across new locations. It could also be used as a form of second opinion for analyzing credit risk related to the borrower. It could also be an application for assessing additional or secondary exposure to existing businesses and clients. And finally, it also acts as a behavioral risk profiling of the customer to be used for collection support. We have already signed up with financial institutions who are applying ItP Q12 as an additional credit assessment solution with high effectiveness. We do not ask you to begin without a free benchmarking exercise. This allows you to have confidence and control over the application prior to an implementation for customized benchmark scores. Reach out to us today to be an ItP practitioner. Spread the word, and thank you for being with us.